And for more on the share market, let's bring in our money guru, Scott Phillips from Motley. Scott, good evening. Over 58 points shed on the ASX. Can we put the blame all on the US?
Tomo, good evening. We absolutely can, not only because it makes us feel better, because that's also true. Our market fell by almost exactly the same rate theirs did overnight our time. That being said, we're both struggling with the same things. The market trying to work out the cost of inflation and the impact of interest rates. While ever that remains the case, the market seems to be content to remain skittish. And so, we're dealing with these ups and downs almost daily at the moment.
OK, now this one I find quite fascinating. Our monthly trade surplus has risen by more than $750 million. Is this a good sign for Australia?
It is, as long as it's sustainable. A trade surplus means we're exporting more than we're importing. And effectively, look, if you're in the import business, you don't love that necessarily. But what it means is we're creating more stuff here than we're consuming. In other words, we're sending more offshore. If that was to go away, we'd produce less here and consume the same amount, meaning economic output would fall. So it is an absolute positive. These numbers can be a little bit variable. A couple of big airline orders, for example, changes these numbers remarkably, if you can believe that. So we need to be a little bit careful about taking too much from one set of numbers. But a trade surplus generally means we're doing something well and the rest of the world wants it, and that's a good sign. OK, now we've heard earlier the government is trying to keep a lid on soaring energy prices, but it sounds like they will keep going up. And the move towards renewables, how do you see this working? Yeah, that's a really great question. You know, they say about inflation, the cure for high prices is often high prices. In this case, when we talk about the cost of renewables or alternative sources of energy, sometimes the existing sources, coal, oil, others going up, actually makes that transition more simple, frankly, because the cost curve comes down much more quickly for renewables. Now, we've got to work out the storage question. Of course, the economics of that remain a real challenge. But yeah, with oil and gas prices remaining stubbornly high at the moment, it certainly does hasten that move. Probably good for the environment, might just be good for the economy too. All right, now, lastly, how are the futures looking in the US? I'm glad I get to finish with some good news, Tomo. It's been one of those weeks, but at the moment at least, their futures up about 1/3%. So hopefully we'll start our last trading day of the week in the green as well.
Like it when you finish with some good news. Scott Phillips, thank you.
Do what I can. Thanks, Tomo.